Hey, hey, this is Kaye again. Hi, hope you're having a great morning. And so, uh, the bite-sized thing that I have on my mind right now is um, deciding if you want to self-publish your work or if you're going to seek a publisher. Um, I've self-published 2 works, and I spent a lot of money. A lot of creative time writing them. One was called Walking Single, Standing Single, Walking Upright, and was about living a good life as a single Christian woman. And then I wrote another that had to do with emotional confusion. The first book was just distributed within the church community, so to speak, and was in a few Christian bookstores, meaning I made a deal with the owners of the bookstores, and they carried my book. It was also distributed through a few first ladies had the book, and they carried it. My kind of unpleasant experience with that was the church that I attended at that time. The first lady gave the book to a pastor of another city. I went on a cruise. My book was at that time about to be picked up. I was negotiating a contract with a company that's no longer around. It was Harrison House, and at least I'm not sure they're still around. And when I left for the cruise, everything was on. I was waiting until I got back to sign my contract. While I was on the cruise, I asked the pastor who was over the cruise, had he read my book? He said, no, I've not even heard of it. And I said, well, yeah, you have it because the pastor's wife told me that she gave you the book. So 10 days later, after I returned back to Los Angeles and began to call the publisher, I could not get a return call. I thought that's very strange. So I called at an odd time, and I knew they would pick up the phone, and they picked up the phone. And I was told, well, we have decided Pastor so-and-so has submitted an outline for a book for singles, Christian singles, and we're going to publish his book because he has a wider audience, he's well known, we can guarantee selling so many units. And it was this pastor who pretended that he did not have my book and had never seen it. So I think that was, and my book was copywritten and everything. That was my first head bump to say, hey, this is intellectual property, and you need to be intelligent about your intellectual property, okay? And the fact that while I was in negotiation, I should not have, even though it was previously self-published and it was had not been widely distributed, I should have stopped the distribution of it until I signed the contract. Now, of course, the book wasn't plagiarized, nothing was taken from the book, but a concept of a book that's powerful, and it's intellectual property. It's your idea. So I always tell my husband, stop discussing your ideas with a bunch of people you don't know just to have a backboard to see what people say about your idea. Because one day you will see your idea floating down the street and say, hey, that was my idea. So a book is an idea before you start to write, before you start this process here. It's in your head. So while it's in your head, just deal with it however you deal with it to process it and get it out on paper or in the computer, or however you write. But internalize your creative process and only use sounding boards that are trusted sounding boards. And if you are planning on approaching publishers with your book, put a hold on your self-publishing of it and putting out the synopsis of it and putting out blurbs about it and talking in chat rooms about it with a bunch of other people you don't know. It's better if you develop a group of trusted people who are also writers, who you can bounce it off of, that they also have work that they want to bounce off of you, meaning that that's a trusted circle. That's something that has to be developed. And I don't know, including myself, I find most writers to be very reclusive. I won't say that I'm reclusive, but I am down with me some privacy. So that's just my tip, about protecting your intellectual property. It's important. And if you're going to shop it out, then just be mindful of who you have given your work to and the timeline in which you expect to hear back from them. Just try to stay up on your work, okay? Because creating it is just one portion of what has to happen to bring it to market. So if you stumble anywhere in that process, you could have something that is very good, a very good product. Your book is a product, and then you talk to the wrong person about it, or you send it to a publisher, but you already are doing PR on it. You just never, ever, ever know. Word to the wise. Peace to all my fellow writers. I love you. I bless you. Have a great writing day. All right, this is Kaye. Until next time.